Okay, welcome back. We're in section 1.5, problem solving. We're going to talk a little bit about some story problems, really. And again, that is the point of this course, is to be able to take math and apply it to real-world situations. So we'll talk about some fairly simple situations, but in the beginning of the reading, you have the kind of the steps listed out for problem solving and how you should go about tackling a problem. So this is the problem solving strategy. The very first thing that you want to do is understand the problem, which is just to read it. Go through, read the whole problem, don't worry about writing stuff down. Just read the problem and understand, and at the very end of the problem, ask yourself, what is it that they're asking me to do, or what is it that I need to solve? All too often people get into the problem and start reading it and just start writing stuff down, and some of that stuff doesn't matter, right? So understand the problem and be able to answer the question, what do they want at the end of this problem? Right? Once you understand that, then go ahead and translate the problem into a mathematical equation or set of equations, but we're going to start with just typically one equation in this section. Once you've got that, then you can solve it. Right? Once you've solved the equation, you'll want to check your solution, take your answer, plug it into the original mathematical equation and check it. And then state your solution in terms of the original problem. So that is to say, if you have a problem that deals with miles between two cities, make sure that you state your answer as the distance between the two cities is whatever miles, right? 25 miles. Right? So that's kind of our general strategy, and we'll do a couple of problems. They're word problems, so bear with me for a minute while I write these down. Alright, let's start with just a general translation problem here. The sum of a number and 6 is the same as the product of 3 and the difference of the number and 2. Okay. So we have a problem, it's all in English, and that in itself is a problem, right? What I want to do is take all of this and turn it into a mathematical statement. Now, understanding the problem is fairly easy, right? At the end of it, it says, what is the number? And that's it. That's what we need to do, is figure out what that unknown number is in this statement. So let's take this bit by bit, right? The sum of, that means I have a plus. The sum of two things, right? What are those two things? Well, a number. I don't know what number it is. Let's call it x. And 6. Well, that's the sum of a number and 6, is x plus 6. Whenever you see is the same as, equals. And the product of 3 and the difference of the number and 2. So there's kind of 3 things going on here, but if we look at it bit by bit, there's 2 operations. It's the product, right? The product means something multiplied. Well, what's being multiplied is 3 is being multiplied by the difference of two numbers, which is to say, in parentheses, I have a difference. This is the product of 3 and the difference of that number and 2. And so step by step, I've created my mathematical equation, and then I just have to solve it. And this takes us back to 1.3, right? Even 1.4, probably even 1.2, but if I take the distribution here, that 3, so I've got x plus 6 equals 3x minus 6, right? And then I would get my x's. I'm going to put my x's to the right, subtract x. While I'm doing that, I'm going to take this 6 and add it to both sides. Cancels over there. So on the left-hand side I have 12. On the right-hand side I have 2x. Right? And you can see that if I divide each side by 2, then I have 12 divided by 2 is 6. 2x divided by 2 is just x. And I've solved it. Right? There are no terms that I have to turn this into other than the unknown number was 6, right? And that's my solution. I can of course check this. I'll leave that to you. Take that 6, plug it in here, 6 plus 6, well that's 12. In fact, I'm checking it now. That's 12 on the left-hand side. 6 minus 2 is 4 times 3 is 12 on the right-hand side, so it works for my solution. All right, let's look at another one. Another one like that, let's say triple the sum of a number and 6 is the same as, I'm reading back and forth from 2 of these. Triple the sum of a number and 4, I apologize. Is the same as decreasing the product of 5 and the number by 10. So pause your video if you need a minute to write that down. I'm going to translate this into, again, this is the same question, what is that number, right? So if we translate this, triple means to multiply something by 3. So I'm going to have 3 multiplied by, but what's being multiplied by 3 is a sum, right? Something added together. Triple the sum of a number and 4. That number, I don't know, that's what we're looking for. We're going to call it x. And 4. Is the same as means to be equal, and then again you have to be careful with decreasing in the order that you write these, right? I'm going to decrease the product of 5 and the number, which is that. 5, the product of 5 and a number is being decreased, so minus by 10. So this is the hard part here, is to get this set up. From here, once you have this is chapters 1.1, 2, 3, and 4, right? This stuff should be easy by now. So if I take this 3 and distribute it through, I've got 3x plus 12 equals 5x minus 10. I'm going to get all of my x's to the right-hand side. just to keep them positive. Again, if you don't like that they're going to the right-hand side, you don't have to do that. Seems to have been that way for many problems in a row, though. That leaves me with 22 on the left, 2x on the right, and if I divide by 2, I have x is 11. Let's take a look at a problem from the examples below. There's a triangle problem. That problem is the first angle of a triangle is 5 degrees less than twice the measure of the second. And then we're told that the third is 25 less. 25 degrees less than 3 times the second. And we're asked to find the measure of all 3 angles. So that's what we're asked. To understand the question, we simply need to know we're going to have some triangle, and I need to know the angle, all 3 angles, right? So I'm going to draw a triangle here. It doesn't matter if it's going to be accurate. All I need is a visual description of what I'm doing. There's a triangle with 3 angles, right? Now, the first angle references the second angle, telling us a little bit about the first angle in relation to the second angle, and the third one does the same. The third one references the second angle, and because that is the case, I'm going to call my second angle the unknown, the x. Right? Because then I can create an expression using just x for the measure of angle 1, and I can do the same for the angle of measure 3. Right? So the first angle is 5 less than twice the second. So the second is x, so 5 less than twice the second is 5 less than twice the second, right? Double the second minus 5. Okay. And the third one is 25 less than 3 times the second, so that means that this is 3x minus 25. It's 25 degrees less than triple the second, right? Now the last thing that I need to know here, and you should know, is that the sum of all of the angles in a triangle is 180. And that's an equation for us. Because if I take angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3, it should be 180 degrees. And that gives us this. Angle 1 is 2x plus 5. Angle 2 is x. Angle 3 is 3x minus 25. And that equals 180, right? All right, I need the board space, so I'm going to get rid of my triangle. So if you need to pause this video, pause it, because this is going away soon. I'm going to write this over here so I have more room, but I've got 2x plus 5. That was angle 1, right? Plus x, which was angle 2. And 3x minus 25 was angle 3. So I just cleaned up a little bit, same equation. But I can combine like terms here. I can take 2x plus another x is 3x plus 3 more x is 6x. I have 5, and then minus 25 ends up being minus 20. If I use the addition principle, I can add 20 to both sides. That gives me 6x equals 200. And then if I divide each side by 6, let me just double check that I didn't goof this up, because it looks like I did goof up, because some of you might have been screaming this to your computer. Less up there means that this isn't a plus, it is a minus, right? Which means that this is a minus. We'll just fix the work that I've done. That means that minus 5 and minus 25, we're going to start over from right here. Still 6x when I combine my x terms. Minus 5 and minus 25 gives me minus 30 equals 180. A little bit different. So again, even teachers mess up. Watch out for the words less. But I can do this still, plus 30 to both sides, plus 30 to both sides. That gives me 6x equals 210. If I divide each side by 6, right? What is that? 70, then 45. Not 45, 35, right? Embarrassing. I gotta check. 35, yeah. There we go. But if I just circle this, I didn't answer the question. I answered one of the 3 questions, right? Find all 3 angles. Well, I found x. X I know is 35. If you need to pause the video here to write this down, pause it, because it's about to go. I know that x is 35. But I need to figure out the other 2 angles. So 2 times x, which is 35, and then minus 5. That gives me 70 minus 5, or 65. That's angle 1. Angle 2 is x, so it is just 35. But then angle 3 is 3 times x, which is 35, minus 25. Right? 3 times 35 is 105. Right? 105 minus 25 is 80. And that gives me my last angle. Good. Okay. And let's take a look at one more. Here's a good one. The sum of 3 consecutive numbers is 123. Find the 3 numbers. Okay. So I have 3 unknowns here. I have 3 different numbers. I don't know what they are, but I'm adding them together, right? But I do know a little bit more than just 3 random numbers. Because they're not random, they're consecutive numbers. So that means if you look at consecutive numbers such as 3, 4, and 5, if you know the first number, you know the other numbers because they're just one more. Which is to say, if you start somewhere and you don't know where you are, The next one is just simply one more, and the next one after that is two more, right? So these are my three numbers. I don't know what the first one is, but once I figure out the first one, I just add one to it to get the second, and add two to it to get the third. And then the question says that the sum of these numbers, which is that expression, is 123. And so if I solve this, I've got it, right? So let's do that. 1, 2, 3 x's total. 1 plus 2 is 3. Right? Use the addition principle here to minus 3 from both sides. So I get 3x equals 120. Divide each side by 3, that'll give me x is 40. Right? And that's my first number. X was 40. X plus 1, my second number is 41, and x plus 2 is 42. And you can check, they're consecutive, obviously, 40, 41, 42. And if I add those three together, I get 40, 81, 123. It's good. All right, thank you, and we'll see you next time.